Every good coach needs a coach. Welcome to Role Model Business, a podcast to help you grow your business, especially in the martial arts world. I'm AJ Klingerman, a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, obsessed with helping you grow your business and your community.
And I'm Jennifer Risser, also a black belt, here to learn right along with you. All right, so every good coach needs a coach.
Yeah, and how exciting. We have our first video.
Yeah, day one of the video. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
If there's video, you'll know we succeeded.
It's great because this is episode 20, so feels like a mile marker.
Yeah, nice
so.
Even start.
Exactly. Yeah, so good luck to us.
Us.
Many professionals have to do continuing education. Lawyers, doctors, dentists, real estate agents. I assume I had to as a stockbroker, but that was a million years ago. Like 25 years ago that I was a stockbroker.
I was a different person.
Different person. I'm sure I had to do continuing education, though. I do remember having to do it as a real estate agent because it might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. I was already pretty done, and I was like, I'm not doing all of this.
Yeah, it's expensive sometimes.
It is. It's expensive, and I don't know. I didn't enjoy it. But a lot of professional industries have to do some sort of continuing education, and really, jiu-jitsu people don't have to, but we should.
Yeah, we absolutely should.
Yeah. So I kind of thought we'd talk about different ways to do continuing education and like things you should kind of be learning about.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, the easiest one for me is just technique, right?
Yeah, exactly. Learning more jiu-jitsu. Like, can you imagine if you had a student that didn't learn any jiu-jitsu for 10 years? So we want to make sure that as instructors, we are still learning more. Mm-hmm. And that can come from moves you see on Instagram or on YouTube or watching instructionals, going to camps and seminars from your own coach. Like several of us still have coaches that we can learn from. There are lots of options of ways to increase your knowledge of techniques.
Yeah, absolutely.
Think I hit them all?
I don't know. Who could say?
Who could say?
They can tell us. Private lessons, I guess, are another option.
Yeah. Private lessons with instructors. Absolutely. But just making sure that you are kind of staying up on jiu-jitsu as a whole. I know for myself that even the very basics, I've learned things about, I do an Americana differently than I did 10 years ago.
Yeah. Even just like shrimping.
Yeah. Shrimping, how I finish a triangle. Like all of it is very different than how I was originally taught. So if I didn't keep up on jiu-jitsu and upgrade my own jiu-jitsu, it would really be a disservice to our students.
Absolutely. Yeah. It can be hard though because, you reach black belt and you're like, I did it. And it's like, actually, you didn't.
Yep. Yeah.
You just have to keep doing it. I mean, you don't have to, but like you should.
Yeah. And honestly though, like to me, that's one of the things I enjoy about jiu-jitsu. Like there is more to do always. I have done some other sports where it was just like, okay, I get it. There's like these 5 moves in different combinations, and it just kind of got boring after some time. And jiu-jitsu just really is never boring.
Yeah. As long as you're doing it right.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying at least.
Yeah.
Other things that as instructors that we need to work on is how to be a better instructor. So that can come just from like watching other people teach, going to seminars and camps and stuff and watching how they teach. I think about this from a lot of different ways. Like, how are they explaining things? Last weekend we did a white belt camp and you were teaching some stuff and I was like, I really like how you say that. Like, we might be saying the same things, but not in the same way. And I really liked how you said it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Sometimes I find too that like I'll just for some reason say a detail differently and it like resonates with people more. So
yeah,
sometimes you teach something and you're like, that didn't go how I thought it would go. Maybe I'll try it different time. Next time maybe I'll try it a different way, so.
Yeah. Even like morning class to night class, I teach a morning class and some of the questions that people ask enable me to teach it better in the evening class. So you can learn just from yourself, learn from watching other people. I remember years ago, we had a seminar out at our gym with JT Torres, and I really liked how he told everyone they had a good question. Like after someone asked a question, he would say, that's a really good question. And I was like, I love that because I kind of came from a place where you might get made fun of if you asked a question. That's not funny, but trauma. But that's true. I really appreciated how he would always say, that's a really good question. And I tried to take that.
That's really kind.
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, just when you watch other people, kind of see how many questions people are asking. This can go one of two ways. One, either maybe they weren't clear enough in their instruction, and so people have to ask questions. So that can make you think, okay, how would I explain this differently? Or it might be that they did a really good job and they're making people feel comfortable enough to ask clarifying questions. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things that I was thinking about, like in watching others and being a better instructor.
Yeah, sometimes we teach like black belts too, like it's good to teach like a black belt sometimes, but sometimes we're kind of divorced from what it means to be a white belt or what it feels like to be a white belt. So, like we had an old coach who would say like, well, I tell my body to go there and it just goes there. I tell my body to do it and it just does it. And it's like, well, these are complex movement patterns that like we don't necessarily just do organically, and so being able to break those down and really think about, okay, what are people struggling with? Here's how I could have taught that better, or, something like that.
Yeah. We had a woman that was blind that was going to be attending camp, and it really made me think about, can I teach her jiu-jitsu without her being able to see me? Because there's so often that we're like, okay, we put our hand here. Which hand? Where's here? Like, can you explain the moves well enough that if people are feverishly writing in their journals, they still know what you're saying? Yeah. So I'm going to use my right hand to grab her left wrist, or, whatever that is. I'm trying to be very specific. Same side wrist, however you want to say it, but very specific to where if you are not looking at me, you can still recreate what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard. It's really hard. And sometimes we feel like we say too many words. So the other thing is, do you have anybody that is kind of calling you out a little bit, And I don't mean like a student being disrespectful or something like that, but do you have somebody that watches you teach a class and can kind of evaluate that and say, you did a really good job here. I think this could use some work. And sometimes we have taken, one of the students will teach a class, and then we'll take all of the students that might teach class over to the other mat, and we'll just talk about it. Like, okay, what did they do well? What could they work on? How would you have done it differently? And just make them start thinking through those things.
Yeah.
We plan to have a brown and black belt camp potentially later this year. And one of the ideas of what we're going to do is have different instructors teaching and kind of do that like evaluation.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to develop how you teach.
Yeah, it really is. But knowing what you like and dislike can be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So jiu-jitsu instructors, we have to like keep up on our jiu-jitsu. We have to keep up on how we teach, constantly improving and growing. But there's probably the business side of that, which I assume is most of the podcast for today.
Well, it is a business podcast. But that's true. Like, we need to, learn all of the things that are more than jiu-jitsu. Most people that own jiu-jitsu gyms got into it because they like jiu-jitsu. They can maybe teach a great class, but do you know how to run a business? And particularly in a bad economy, you need to be able to do all of the other things really well. So where are you learning how to improve your social media, how to do YouTube, what like SEO, blogging, Facebook ads, all of these things? Where are you learning how to do the rest of it? You're doing your books or your finances. I'm sure we all know how to take out the trash and do the laundry and such, but where are you learning the business side of it and getting better at that so that you can continue to grow your business? Because it doesn't matter if you teach a phenomenal class if there's nobody there to see it.
True. So true.
Yeah.
So how do we go about starting to figure this out? Where do we learn from?
Well, congratulations. You're here. That's a great start, right? Podcasts are a great way. Other seminars, workshops, YouTube, reading different articles. People take in things in different ways, which is why we wanted to start video, because some people do want to watch us. First of all, I know you're scandalized that we're not wearing matching shirts.
So we're both wearing role model shirts.
Yes, and you are an octopus, so It makes sense you're wearing the octopus shirt, and I am
That was her putting a crown on in her head. In case you are not watching the video, she's wearing a shirt with a line with a crown on it. But the real reason we're not wearing matching shirts is because we couldn't find matching shirts. So here we are. We were late for a tournament this morning, and this is what happened.
Yeah, and we weren't able to prepare ahead of time because we were at a conference yesterday.
Yeah, which is how we thought of this topic.
Exactly. We have been doing a lot of continuing at ourselves. I want to, as a business coach, I want to be a better business coach. And that means learning a lot of different things. And I went to 2 conferences this week. So I've taken in a lot of information.
So do you want to talk through some of what you've learned, or where do you want to go from here?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you are doing the things to further educate yourself, right? This is about doing continuing education and not just relying on what you already know. Start learning to edit videos. Start learning how you can potentially use AI to help you. I have some feelings about AI, but it's also the way the world's going. So how can you use it responsibly and not just, willy-nilly?
Okay, so what are some other ways that you could get some coaching or some leveling up your skills?
Yeah, so like I said at the very beginning of the episode, a good coach needs a coach, right? So you should have a coach of some sort, maybe one that you work one-on-one with, or maybe one that you're in a mastermind with. And that can go one of 2 ways. It can either be someone that is specifically for your business. I've run lots of jiu-jitsu only masterminds. So everybody in it ran some sort of jiu-jitsu business. It didn't have to be a gym, but some sort of jiu-jitsu business. And I still actively run masterminds that do not have any jiu-jitsu stuff in them. It's like a clown and a financial advisor. And yeah, so you can choose which way you prefer. If you're going with one that is not jiu-jitsu based, you have to go in thinking, my business is not different. It's how do I make this work in my industry? And that can be really good for like outside the norm things. And then it can be really good to also be in something that is jiu-jitsu based. We will be rolling out an online jiu-jitsu or martial arts school owner mastermind here in the next couple months, right after camp. And I highly recommend you being involved in that.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, good.
What are other things we should be doing?
Well, learning people skills. Easy, right? But unfortunately, not all instructors have great people skills.
No.
Well, it's true. And that can be how to handle trauma or students with trauma. It can be how to make your gym more inclusive, how to deal with inappropriate behavior at the gym. There's a lot of things that you can do to have a better environment.
Okay. Other things we could be doing, probably learning like basic first aid.
Yeah, that's important. Take a CPR class, know how to tape something up if it gets hurt. Knowing how to KT myself has been very helpful. Knowing some injury prevention and injury recovery things. We've been very fortunate to work with Megan Timler, both on a personal level and a professional level. She spoke at many of our camps on those types of subjects, but I think that it's helpful to continue your education on that too.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so that's all I have. Basically just, there's a lot to learn and you really have to be intentional about furthering your education.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, do we have a content corner piece for this week?
We do. Okay, so here's your prompt or your hook for this week. It is, someone once told me blank, and I haven't been the same since.
Okay, so example?
You could do, someone once told me that being a part of this community saved their life, and I haven't been the same since.
Oh, I love that.
That's one that we've gotten quite a bit. And, I think in the description, you can write out a little bit more, maybe even going into like jiu-jitsu is not therapy, but the community that can hold you up and help you get through tough times is part of it.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Call to action for the week.
Subscribe to the Substack. Subscribe to this podcast and this YouTube, assuming this worked.
We'll find out.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for this week. So you know what we always say.
If you build it,
learn how to market it,
get referrals,
follow up with prospects,
offer a great product,
grow a community,
they will come. Now get out there and get it done. We believe in you.